Hi friends, this is Georgie and welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone is doing good today. I wanted to make a part 2 to a video that I did a couple weeks ago, which is my fundamentals of self-care video. Some of these things that I'm going to talk to you about today might seem a little obvious, but they are things that really have shaped me into the person that I am today. So I feel like when we find something that works for us, it's always a nice thing to share it. I, for one, love to have my own experiences, but I also like to listen to others. And I don't know, I feel like in a way it's a nice way of like clicking and, practicing conscious communication and empathy and all these like very important human traits that sometimes we forget about. So without further ado, let's get started with my 7, habits, fundamentals that have been a big game changer for me. Focus on one thing at a time and make sure you finish it. This is, I put this one at the top of the list because it has definitely been one that maybe I used to not be so on top of. When we multitask so much and have so much like scattered ideas and projects and things going on, it's really difficult to get anything done. I don't know if it like has ever happened to you guys that like you want to do so many things, but by overwhelming ourselves with all those things, we end up not getting anything done. So it reminds me of like when you have an internet browser open and just a ton of tabs and you're just like clicking through all those tabs. That doesn't work for my mind. So I don't know how well it works for your mind. When we focus on one thing at a time and we make sure to finish it correctly and to our best abilities, the results end up being pretty satisfying. I like to maybe set myself like a goal of 3 to 5 things, and if I can't finish one of those things, then I put that on pause temporarily. If we're working on a project or a task or something and we need a break, that's also valid. Our attention span can only be so much that, sometimes as humans we do get bored of what we're doing, right? So that's been a really big game changer for me in these past years of living my life. Tip number 2 is to have some moments of self-care and just overall like self-pampering. This can be anything you enjoy that you just take a good amount of time doing, whether it is washing your face or taking a long shower or grooming your body. Like it can be something so small as like clipping your nails or tweezing your eyebrows. I'm not the biggest, like grooming guy, but I do like to, pamper myself and take care of my body as much as I can. There's very simple things that you can do, like maybe preparing your favorite meal every now and then, even if it takes you like 2 hours to cook it. Yeah, I think sometimes we may expect others to do this for us, and when that expectation arises, then disappointment can also come with it. So when we ourselves focus on giving ourselves what we need, then we don't really need that like pampering from others. It's nice to have like friends and family and loved ones do things for us, but it's even nicer when we do things for ourselves. Tip number 3 is to eat your greens, and not only eating like your vegetables, but I wanted to share with you guys these 2 books that I really live by. It's by this author called, I'm totally gonna butcher her last name, but Jessie I don't know. I'm not gonna try to even pronounce her last name, but she's the glucose goddess on social media. So this first book that she wrote is more of like the science and the methodology of. It's called The Glucose Revolution. I have it in Spanish, but it's pretty much like not necessarily a diet, but it's sort of like hacks of how to eat your food, like which order to eat your food, you know? When we're really hungry or whatever, when we go to a restaurant, it's very, what do you call it? It's very like common to get the bread first and start with like a heavy appetizer, but what this girl says is to, you know, I don't want to like make anything up, so I'm gonna read it directly from her book. There's a specific order of how you should be eating your food. And like I said, this isn't even a diet. It's just sort of like a food hack system. So what she says is to eat foods in the right order. So starting with like your fibers, which include, you know, your vegetables and your greens. Then come the proteins and the fats. So like meats, anything that's more fatty. Then the starches, which is sort of like the, I'm gonna go turn on the fan because I'm about to melt, I'm sorry. Be right back. Okay guys, fan's on. It's so hot where I live in, and you know, there might be a little bit of noise up there, but we're gonna have to do that so that I can get through this video today. Not the best sweater vest to be wearing either, but where was I? So yeah, she says to start with the fiber, then the proteins and the fats, then the starches, which is pretty much like the carbs, bread, all that stuff, and finally the sugars. So I've actually been doing this for a couple months now, and believe me, I have seen changes in not only my weight, because weight's not what it's all about, but more like my energy levels and my, what am I trying to say? I guess like my day-to-day performance. At first, it might be a little difficult to not like, you know, be starving and stuff yourself with a muffin or whatever. But as you make this into a habit, it becomes so much easier. So if you want to pick up either of these two books, like I said, The Glucose Revolution is sort of like her story and how she got started with this method and the science behind it. And then this one, in The Glucose Goddess Method, is a really cool recipe book in which she shares a lot of her recipes, and it's really nice. I've tried this really good omelet, which is made up of like the eggs, feta cheese, and cherry tomatoes, and it's become one of my favorite meals to have for breakfast. So yeah, these books, I really recommend them. I'll find a link on Amazon or whatever and leave them down below in the description. Like I said, not sponsored, just a big fan. My fourth tip that I wanted to share with you is to set a daily intention. So what is an intention? It's, I guess, like, there's many definitions to it. Mine is to like just set, I guess, like a personal internal goal, and even like a mantra or a word that you want to practice throughout the day. My intentions usually go by being something very simple, as like maybe not judge, or stay humble, or like don't let your intrusive thoughts get the best of you. Those are a few examples, but setting an intention in the mornings, I like to meditate and do a little yoga practice. That's where I set my intention. You can just also, as soon as you wake up, close your eyes and think of something you want to work on today. It's nice to remember that we are not perfect, and we are constantly growing, constantly changing, and constantly learning. So setting an intention is just something really nice that helps you with, you know, whatever is going on inside. And it also helps with like interacting with others and just having like a better I guess it just helps having a better day. Something I've learned by setting like repeatedly an intention that I want to work on is that the more you set it, the more they become into a habit. This really helps with things I want to work on and just, maybe traits that aren't the best that I have. One that I've really been working on right now and I wanted to share is to like have more initiative. I used to be like very, very scared of starting to make like plans with my friends or like calling up a family member or starting a project. But lately I've been like, the worst thing that can happen is that someone is gonna say no to you, and like what you can do there is just, try again on another day or try again with a different person or with a different project or with a different goal. So having more initiative has been an intention that I have been wanting to practice for a while now. On days that I don't want to set like a very like hard intention or goal, I just use words. One that I love to use is love. I don't want to go like too corny into the video, but just love is an intention that I constantly remind myself of, because when we act from a place of love and kindness, I think that really shows and others feel it. So yeah, try setting an intention every now and then, and maybe your days will start to change. Okay, so tip number 5 is to listen to more music and less thoughts. And by this, I'm not like referring to like completely forget about what you're thinking or what your responsibilities are. What I mean by this is to like maybe sometimes put your thoughts on hold with a really good album that you're vibing with at the moment, or with a fun podcast or whatever. Being so immersed in our thoughts, from my personal experience, this is all from my experience, okay guys? From my experience, being so immersed in your thoughts and, giving your thoughts like so many loops and loops and loops can lead to overthinking and can lead to like, even being like in a state of like swamp mode and not being able to like enjoy the present moment. So when I listen to music and put my headphones on, or like when I'm at home and I put the speaker on or whatever, I start even to like sing in my head, and depending on my mood, of course, is what like genre or artist of music I listen to. If I'm reading, what I've been doing lately is so that it doesn't distract me so much from what I'm reading, is I play some classical music, and I feel like a very elegant old man, but classical music, or like when I'm feeling like more uplifted, I listen to some pop, or when I'm a little sad, I listen to like melancholic music. So it's a nice way to like just get out of your head, and I love music. I could just listen to music all day long. I really don't, no judgment here, but I really don't get people that don't like music. Listening to music is another one of my fundamentals of self-care. Tip number 6 is to be kind to yourself and be kind to others. I can't stress this enough. I can't stress this one enough. Honestly, kindness is something that we should all practice, no matter where you're from, no matter what religion you are, gender or species or whatever you identify with. Kindness is key. So why is it so important? Because it's something that we, expect others to give us, so why not give the same to others? You never know when someone out there might be having a really crappy day, and sometimes just by being kind and smiling and saying thank you and giving like a small compliment or a blessing, it can really turn their day around. Just the other day, I was fabric shopping, and I like to observe. I'm a very observative person. So the lady that was working at the fabric store, you could just tell she was having like a terrible day. I worked in retail for a couple of years, and it's not easy to like work in customer service and have people like boss you around every day, or maybe have like a pretty tough manager. So I could tell that the lady that was helping me with my fabrics was just like not making eye contact. She was like waiting and counting down the seconds to like clock out and get the hell out of there. So after she had this like kind of closed attitude towards me, I was thinking to myself, like, how can I just kind of like uplift this person without being too intrusive? So after she gave me my fabrics, I was like, oh, thank you very much. I hope you have a beautiful day. So in that moment, she like turns around at me like a little bit confused, and she just like smiles and she's like, thank you, you too. And that just made me feel like so nice. And not that I like made her entire day or life, but I think that at least for a moment, she got out of like whatever it is that she was, you know, meddling in her mind, and it made her feel good and it made me feel good. So kindness is key. Also, a very wise yoga teacher one time told me that whenever you're feeling like not the best and you forget how to take care of yourself, by taking care of others or something else like a plant or your dog or whatever, that in a way teaches us again and reminds us to take care of ourselves. I don't know how that works, but it really works. So yeah, whenever you're feeling a little down or just not at your best mood, maybe go out and take care of someone or something, and who knows, you might be surprised with what the results are. All right, you guys, so tip number 7, and the last one of my list for this video, is to carry something with you that will help you feel grounded. So what do I mean by like grounded is kind of like what I was referring to in the first points of like staying present, like not thinking so much about the future or dwelling so much on the past. What I like to carry with myself are amulets. An amulet is like an object that just, I guess, like fills you in a nice emotional way. There are two that I love to carry. One of them is this stone, and I'm totally gonna butcher its name. It's called like a moss agate or agate. If for those of you who are like crystal aficionados might know the pronunciation a little better than me, but I picked this very gorgeous crystal a few years ago when I was just, you know, out shopping around with one of my really good friends. And I guess the message from this one is that like it attracts abundance, it's good for new beginnings. And I really like how when you shine it through the light, you can see some of the moss that's inside. So this little crystal is one that I always carry with me, whether it being in my pocket or in my fanny pack. When I'm home, I like to put it on one of my tables, on top of a book, next to my computer. Maybe for some people it might just be like a pretty rock, but for me it just has lots of meaning. And the other one that I wanted to share was this little piece of bark. It's like just a little piece of wood. And why is this so special for me? I don't know, some people believe that by like carrying wood, because it comes from trees, it helps you, you know, stay rooted to the ground and not have your head like up in the clouds all the time. This little piece of wood in particular came from this peach tree that was at my parents' house. And just a few months ago, the tree came to its last phases and it died and it lost all its leaves. So when the gardener came over and chopped it down, I saw that, you know, it was if you've seen some of my past videos, I have like a very special connection with like plants and trees and whatever. So it was a very like emotional thing for me to see, like being a young kid and running around this tree and picking up these peaches and having my mom make pies and jams, like, and now have it be gone, was like, oh man, I miss my tree. So when I went to the area where my tree was at, I saw that there was like pieces of its bark left, so I picked one up. It just reminds me to take care of nature and stay rooted and grounded. Unfortunately, well, that tree is not in my life anymore, but the memories are. And something really cute that I did was, before I left my parents' house, I planted another tree. I planted this little cute avocado tree that with time I'm sure it's gonna grow, and maybe like my niece or whatever is gonna have a similar experience than the one I did growing up. So yeah, this moss, agate, and my little piece of tree, peach tree bark, wood or whatever, are two amulets that help me stay grounded, and I definitely recommend that you guys go out and like find a rock or a crystal or whatever appeals your eyes or whatever goes with your vibe. It can be literally whatever you want, a little bracelet or whatever. Having these amulets can definitely be something that like you charge and, you know, carry this like good energy along with you. All right, you guys, so those were my 7 fundamentals of self-care. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you like this kind of content. Sometimes with this new channel, I feel like it's all over the place. I mean, I don't have a specific subject or topic. I don't have a specific niche just yet. I just kind of like make a list and brainstorm of videos that I wanna make and topics I want to talk about. So, you know, sharing things that help me out with my life, take it or leave it, is something that I enjoy doing. And if you guys have something that you want to share with me or with the community, you're very welcome to leave it down below in the comments. I always love listening to other people's experiences. And yeah, I guess that's all for now. It's getting a little hot. I'm gonna go freshen up. But I just wanted to thank you guys for tuning into my channel, for watching my videos, for all the support and all the love. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.